this is my prediction for the fate of Rhaenyra Targaryen on House of the Dragon. Before we get into the discussion, I am going to give a brief spoiler warning because if you are unfamiliar with how the story ends, I don't want to ruin anything for you by what I may or may not say. So only watch if you're cool with that, because what I'm about to say isn't a small spoiler, it's a great big whopping spoiler. So let's get into it. I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen, and I'll tell you what I would love to happen, but I don't think will. I think Rhaenyra's ending on the show will be the same as her ending in Fire and Blood. She is devoured by Dragonflame and then eaten by Aegon's dragon, Sunfire. Yeah, I told you it was a big spoiler. I think it's going to happen this way because it's just so tragic. It's so emblematic of Rhaenyra's life. She's never going to get that happy ever after. It's so tragic because the tragedy is the point. Now, as a Rhaenyra girly, I don't want this moment to happen. I'd love it for Rhaenyra to have a totally alternative ending. I just don't think that's very likely. I'd love for Sunfire to either not be around or not be able to be eating people. I don't want Rhaenyra eaten by a dragon and blasted with dragon flame. I don't want to see her son witness this. I don't want it. But I think we're going to get it. Because I believe, firstly, that Sunfire is alive. I think everyone just thinks the dragon's dead because they're in a really bad way. I think Sunfire will recover in a similar way that Aegon recovers, but neither of them are ever quite the same again. I would be highly, highly shocked if they changed the narrative from Fire and Blood so much so that Rhaenyra doesn't have this kind of ending. The only thing I think they could change is for Sunfire to not be involved. I still think Aegon is going to be responsible for what happens to Rhaenyra in that final moment. It just might not be with Dragonfire. But I think it will be because there is such symbolism. Rhaenyra as this nurturer. She has all of these kids and her dragon, Syrax, is notoriously fertile, and there is this link between the fertility of dragon women and the fertility of dragons, and it all just kind of comes together, and it's really sad that it would be a dragon to take her out. Rhaenyra, the youngest dragon rider in history. There's an irony to Rhaenyra being removed, gone, at the hands of a dragon, but Rhaenyra's line still continues. Her dynasty carries on all the way down to Daenerys Targaryen, the mother of dragons. So there is some symbolism here. I think when we rejoin House of the Dragon in season 3, I think we're going to see Sunfire is still alive, but is weak. There is a potential for Aegon to ride Sunfire again. That's what I think anyway. That's where my mind is at. I don't want to see this happen. I think Rhaenyra deserves better. However, her story, the reason why George wrote it, it's for a reason. It's to tell this tale of misogyny. Because if Rhaenyra had been born a man, none of this would be happening. Her gender is the sole reason and it leads to her death.